Ross Chastain, the Melon Man, has done it again. At Kansas Speedway, Chastain claimed his first victory of the 2024 NASCAR Cup Series season, shocking fans and competitors alike. This win marks Chastain's fifth career Cup Series victory and showcases his remarkable comeback after narrowly missing the playoffs. The Hollywood Casino 400 at Kansas Speedway was a race filled with unexpected twists and turns. Chastain, who started the race in 20th position, methodically worked his way through the field. As the laps wound down, Chastain found himself in a fierce battle with Martin Truex Jr. and William Byron for the lead. With just 21 laps to go, Chastain made his move. On a late restart, he surged past Truex, taking control of the race. From that point on, it was a test of skill and nerves as Chastain held off a hard-charging William Byron. The final laps were a nail-biting affair, with Byron doing everything in his power to close the gap. But Chastain's Kubota Chevrolet had just enough speed to keep the Hendrick Motorsports driver at bay. As Chastain crossed the finish line, he clinched victory by a mere 0.388 seconds over Byron. After the checkered flag, Chastain celebrated in his trademark style, smashing a watermelon on the front stretch, a nod to his family's watermelon farming background. In his post-race interview, Chastain expressed his excitement and gratitude. "This is incredible. To drive into victory lane in the Cup Series, it's just so challenging. It's so tough," he exclaimed. "That process I talked about last year in Nashville. We all stayed on it. We haven't gone anywhere. We keep showing up. It's not easy when you're failing or struggling at something, and you just can't get to where you want to get to." Chastain's victory is particularly impressive considering his recent performances. Prior to this race, his best finishes of the season were fourth-place results at Watkins Glen and Las Vegas. This win not only snaps his winless streak for the season, but also marks his first trip to victory lane since the 2023 season finale at Phoenix Raceway. The race at Kansas was a showcase of Chastain's skills and determination. He led the race 5 times for a total of 52 laps, demonstrating his ability to navigate the 1.5-mile track effectively. His performance was particularly strong in the final stage, where he pitted early to gain track position and capitalized on the opportunity. NASCAR analyst Eric Estep commented on Chastain's recent form, saying, "There was a reason why on Thursday, Ross Chastain was one of the few non-playoff drivers mentioned during our weekend preview episode. Not only did he show speed at this track in the spring, leading a bunch of laps in Stage 1, he's also been extremely consistent recently. Obviously just missed out on qualifying for the playoffs, but that hasn't slowed him down." While Chastain's win is the headline, the race had significant implications for the NASCAR playoffs. William Byron's second-place finish propelled him to the top of the playoff standings. Byron now holds a 6-point lead over Ryan Blaney and Christopher Bell, who are tied for second. The race at Kansas was the first in the round of 12, with upcoming races at Talladega Superspeedway and Charlotte Motor Speedway's Roval set to determine which 8 drivers will advance to the next round. Byron, reflecting on his near miss, said, "I feel like Chastain got the restart he needed to, and I was in the second row just trying to clear those guys. Once I got clear of them, my balance was okay. Just a little bit tight, but just kind of inching up on him. I needed probably, for it to be a longer run being in second." The race was full of drama and misfortune for other drivers. Kyle Busch, who was looking to extend his streak to 20 seasons with a Cup Series win, saw his chances vanish in the closing laps. Busch had taken the lead from Chastain with 64 laps to go and looked poised for victory. However, while trying to lap Chase Briscoe, Busch was squeezed into the wall, sending him spinning down the backstretch with just 30 laps remaining. Busch explained the incident. "I am sure he was racing to stay on the lead lap with whoever was in front of him there. Back in the old days when you were under 30 to go or whatever it was, lap traffic would kind of lay over and give you a lane and let the leaders race. I just wasn't getting that, so I tried to force my hand to get that and get to his outside, and for whatever reason, it just gave all the air in all the wrong places, and I spun out." He ultimately finished 19th, extending his winless streak to 51 races dating back to his last victory in St. Louis. Kyle Larson, who entered the race as the playoff points leader, faced early adversity when a right rear tire went down on lap 18. The incident sent Larson into the wall, and despite his team's efforts to repair the damage, he could only manage a 26th place finish. This result dropped Larson to 4th in the playoff standings, 16 points behind Byron. Larson reflected on his challenging day, saying, "Our team did a really good job fighting and clawing to get better where we ended up. I wish it would have just went green to the end instead of having those couple cautions." Austin Cindric also had a challenging day. After pitting twice at the end of Stage 1 due to a loose wheel, Cindric found himself back in contention. However, near the end of Stage 2, another tire issue sent him spinning down the backstretch. He finished 4 laps down in 34th place, putting his playoff hopes in jeopardy. Cindric's struggles saw him fall to last place in the playoff point standings. On a more positive note, Chase Elliott showcased impressive resilience. Starting from the rear of the field due to an engine change, Elliott fought his way through the pack to finish 9th. This result keeps him above the playoff cut line and demonstrates his ability to overcome adversity. Elliott commented on his performance, saying, "Considering yesterday and starting last and everything, it could have been a lot worse. But I'm always on the side of the fence where our car was good enough. I felt like it could have been a lot better, but we'll take it." The stage winners of the race were William Byron, who claimed Stage 1, and Alex Bowman, who took the checkered flag in Stage 2. These stage wins provided crucial playoff points for both drivers as they navigate the intense competition of the postseason. Byron's strong performance throughout the race, leading 24 laps, solidified his position at the top of the playoff standings. Other notable finishes included Martin Truex Jr. in 3rd place. Although Truex was eliminated from the playoffs last week at Bristol, he put in a strong performance in what was likely his final race at Kansas Speedway. Ryan Blaney, overcoming a loose left wheel in the final stage, rallied to finish 4th, giving his playoff hopes a significant boost. Ty Gibbs rounded out the top 5 with a solid performance. Further down the order, Christopher Bell recovered from a couple of scrapes with the wall to finish 7th. Denny Hamlin salvaged an 8th place finish after 2 problems on pit road, and Zane Smith completed the top 10. Looking ahead, the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs continue next Sunday at Talladega Superspeedway. The Yellowwood 500 promises to be another thrilling race, with the unpredictable nature of superspeedway racing likely to shake up the playoff standings once again. Ryan Blaney won at Talladega last year, beating Kevin Harvick to the line after a last lap wreck that included Chase Elliott, Riley Herbst, Chase Briscoe, and Austin Cindric. Daniel Suarez, Chastain's teammate at Trackhouse Racing, finished 13th at Kansas and now sits 14 points below the elimination line. Suarez expressed his disappointment after the race, saying, "Our number, 99 Worldwide Express Chevy, was pretty good yesterday, but today we just missed it. We couldn't make the front turn on the short runs, and we were way too free on the long runs. We just struggled with the balance all day. We didn't feel very good, it was a decent finish, but I feel like our Chevy had much more potential." Despite his current position, Suarez's playoff campaign has been mixed. He secured a 2nd place finish in Atlanta, followed by a 13th at Watkins Glen and a disappointing 31st to wrap up round 1. With Talladega next on the schedule, Suarez has reason for optimism. He's managed 3 top 10 finishes in his last 5 races at the Superspeedway, although his most recent outing resulted in a 26th place finish in the spring race this year. The race at Kansas also highlighted the competitive nature of NASCAR drivers, even those not in the playoffs. Ross Chastain's victory showcases the mentality that personal ambition often trumps teamwork in racing. When asked about potentially letting a playoff driver win, Chastain was clear, "I would have loved to see the number 1 car win." 24 car in victory lane and lock himself into the round of 8? Sure, but not enough to pass the number. 1 car because I'm driving it, he continued. At the end of the day, would I truly give up the win? I would not. I don't care, you can lock them into anything. If I have a chance to win, I am gonna win.
Would I have loved to see the 24 drive into victory lane and lock himself into the round of 8? Sure. But not enough to pass the 1 car because I'm driving it, and it was everything that I could do to stay in front of him. And there was times where he would gain on me, and actually, like 2 to go, we took 2 to go, we'd roll 1 and 2, and we come off turn 2, and I'm like, he is closer than he's been this entire run. What just happened? I thought I was just managing the gap. And so yeah, Spoiler, yes, but when I'm watching it, I'm seeing my Chevy teammates, the people that I work with during the week. We do DIL simulations, like our simulator sessions in the simulators together with HMS, with RCR and Trackhouse, and I want them to succeed. I want the 99 to succeed. I wish that Daniel was the one winning.
The race at Kansas Speedway also saw the return of a familiar face. Carl Edwards was back at the track to drive the pace car, 8 years after walking away from the sport. Edwards, who never won a Cup Series race at Kansas, despite it being close to his hometown of Columbia, Missouri, shared his thoughts on the experience. I thought it was just going to be a ceremonial grand marshal kind of pace car thing, but they made me come in this morning and do a lesson. A little more pressure than I expected.